sorry, part 2 of this because I got a phone call and it shut my camera off. So yes, the place command, building exercise alone builds endurance. And exercise if you're using exercise to tire her out, what you'll find is when you exercise your dog, it kind of puts them in an aroused state, gets them all worked up, and then they come inside and they're like, great, like we just did all this running, you're gonna be tired, and you bring your dog inside and they're like running around because they're amped up. I'm speaking from personal experience with my dog. I will run her up and down on our 4-wheeler for 30 minutes thinking she's gonna be so tired when we come inside, and she comes inside and she does laps around the house and chases like flies and stuff. I'm like, so you have to balance exercise and getting them all worked up and excited with behaviors where they need to use their brain and think things through. So mental stimulation helps put them in that calmer state. So even though she's just laying there on her place, she is conscious of what she's doing and not coming off. She's being less impulsive and she's not reacting to her environment. So, excuse me, that is why I like the place command, and that is the one context that I use it for high energy dogs. It's really great. It's a great option to help bring dogs into that calmer state with their mind. Let's go ahead and do her e-collar, so that way we can go over her leash manners and her recall. And I will send a video of her out actually on a walk, so that way I can show you real life instead of just this little rip. So I don't remember everything that I went over in the other video, so when you get this out of the box, you can cut some of the straps off, this leg off. Make sure that you leave a little bit extra in case she gets chunky or whatever. The key here is to make sure that these contact points are making consistent contact to her skin and not just resting on her fur. You want to make sure that it's tight enough to where it's not moving around too much, and again, not making consistent contact. So if this is just resting lightly on her neck, she could potentially not be feeling anything, and then you're adjusting levels because you think that she's not feeling anything, and then maybe she turns her neck and then it is touching her skin and you're starting at a higher level, and that could be something that's intimidating for her. So the rule of thumb is when this is on her, I like to be able to fit snugly 2 fingers under the strap. The box should be making contact on her skin, not her fur. So I'll put it on a little tight at first, and then I'll kind of move it around a little bit till it kind of goes through her little furs. You should be able to, if you need to move the box around, it should be a little bit tricky to do. It should not just be sliding around easily. You should not be able to lift it up off of the skin. I like to adjust where I put it periodically so that it's not always hitting the same spot and creating pressure sores. Hi. I always turn it on first to make sure that I don't have to mess around with that. Hi. When it is already on her. And Phoebe is usually between a level 5 to 10. I like to start at the lower level, the 5, and I'll work my way around as she responds or doesn't respond. Hi. Excuse you. So I want it to be either up top, off to the side a little bit, or down on the lower part of her neck, off to the side. Should be right behind the ears though. Hello. So what we're looking for as far as a response, you should not, sorry, I'm trying to talk into this at the same time. You should not necessarily be able to tell, no, place, go ahead. You should not be able to tell that she feels it other than she's responding to what you're asking her to do. If at most, maybe an ear flick or an eye blink, If it's something where there's a lot of stuff going on, you need to have it at a higher level now. Please. So pressure, good. I don't want to see yelping or, you know, shying away like that. Just turn it down. If it's something where maybe she wasn't listening to one level and you had to go higher, and then she became more aware of you, and then all of a sudden it was too much, just turn it back down. Whatever level works is the level that you should be using. So sometimes that's a level 5, sometimes it's a level 10, sometimes it's higher. It really depends on what's going on around you. Lower distraction is the 5, even if 4 works for her, because there's nothing competing with her attention to me. When I go outside and there's things happening and she's distracted and she's, you know, worked up about something, that 4 or 5, it's not even on her radar. She's not feeling it. So me going higher doesn't mean that it's hurting her more. It just means she's not conscious of it. So I will adjust it around with the e-collar. I'll start at that lower level. I'll move it around. I move it around constantly. So don't, you hear me say 5 to 10, move it around, adjust it until you get the response that you want. Do not be stuck on one number just because I said that's what works. If you get to take her home and like she never goes below a 10, as long as she's working with you happily and not like, you know, shying away from it, use that level. Don't be afraid to adjust things around on here. Again, I'm gonna go over specifics with her leash walking and her recall through a video of us out and about. With her heel, come here. What's that? Move that out of the way. What I'm looking for is, come here. That's it. It's her to be level to my left side. And I know this is front facing, but this is my left hand. I want her on my left side. I like for her to be level or right behind my left leg, never ahead. Every time she gets ahead, I'm going to pressure her backwards. I like to have the leash short but loose. There should be no tension in it unless I'm giving her information or she's laying down. So I don't like the loose leash to be me holding the end of a normal leash, because that's how far she can be away from me, and that makes me uncomfortable if she darts out in front of the car or she does something naughty. Come here, say, good girl. When I have my leash short like this, I don't have to move around too much to be able to manipulate where she is. So her moving forward a little bit creates her own tension. She does that to herself. So if my hand is down by my side relaxed, which is where it should be, this is the zone that she has to move around. She's still free of tension and walking calmly by my side, but I'm not, you know, ripping my arm out of socket to get her to be where I need her to be. What's going on over there? So the command I use is, let's go, let's go. Very good. I use it, let's go. I'll repeat the command every time I go into a turn, let's go. I kind of use it as a turn signal. If she gets too far ahead, pressure backwards, good. Mark with the good when she fixes it to show her that's where I want her to be. If you're using your e-collar, it's gonna be, let's go, pressure, then leash pressure backwards. So verbal, e-collar, leash, and then when she's where you want her to be, pressure release. So let's go. And this will be easier to show when I'm recording this walking. Good girl. Every time I stop walking, she needs to go into a sit. Good girl. Very good. Okay. Very good. For her recall, the command is Phoebe, come. Good girl. Good job. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to think of how I want to go over this. If she is not on leash, which she's leash on right now, or she's on her leash right now, if she's off doing something and I want her to come to me, I try to avoid using the come command unless I know that I am 100% going to be able to be successful.
So if she's, let's say, naked, doesn't have her stuff on, and she's laying out in the yard chewing on a stick, and you say, Phoebe, Phoebe, if she looks up at you or gets up, then I'm gonna say come, because I know that she's most likely gonna follow through and come to me. If I say Phoebe, or whatever, make a noise, and she totally blows me off, she's not gonna come to me. She's not, the word come is not gonna all of a sudden become magical to her. She's in her zone, she's ignoring me. If I have my e-collar, I'm gonna use my e-collar, but if she doesn't have any of that stuff on, I'm gonna go out of my way to be extra exciting and worthwhile her listening to me. So I will make a bunch of noises, I will kind of stomp my feet, slap my thighs is what I meant, not my feet, and be excited and be something that is rewarding to her, so that way she all of a sudden has attention to me. And that's all it is when dogs don't want to come to you. It's not because they don't like you, it's just because whatever they have is rewarding enough for them to not need to come to you. Don't always be so available to your dog. You want to be extra exciting. So if every waking moment you're giving them affection and attention, they can decide, man, I don't really need that right now. If it's something that they really have to work for to earn your affection and your attention, then it becomes more exciting for them. So I know for my dogs, we live out in the country, and I think you do too. There is a bajillion things for them to do out there. If they know what they're going to get from me every single time they come when I call them, they can choose to listen. They can weigh their options of what's more reinforcing. Would they have each other? So if they're playing, if they know what I have, they're like, man, I don't need that right now, so I'm going to keep doing this with my sibling dog, or I'm eating a piece of grass or a stick or whatever. So I try to be creative in what I have to offer. Like sometimes it's a piece of cheese, sometimes it's a play tug or something. Sometimes it is a piece of deli meat, or sometimes it's a handful of their kibble. They don't know, so then that creates that giggle, or creates that dopamine of excitement to like, I should go check in with my owner because maybe it's something really good. Sometimes it's nothing, and that's the gamble. Sometimes like you just gotta come inside because I said so. But because I've established that gamble, it builds their drive and wanting to come check out what I potentially have. Again, if every single time, like, oh, I have my dog, I always offer them a milk bone when they come inside. But sometimes they don't want it because they know that it's a milk bone. So if they're like, oh, I found this animal bone out in the yard, I don't want the milk bone right now. But if they don't know what they're getting, gotta play smart, work smart, not harder. That's the phrase. Anyway, if you have your lane collar on, then that stuff doesn't necessarily matter as much. But obviously, you want to have that relationship where we don't need this, but this is here in case they don't give a rat's behind what you have. And there are always, my dogs, amazing dogs, but sometimes they're like, I literally cannot care what you have. I'm chasing a rabbit right now. So I have my e-collar to back up my validity in their lives. So if I say Phoebe come and she's like, man, I don't feel like it, I'm going to apply pressure. I'm going to say no, and at the come the second time, pressure is applied. And again, this isn't a weapon. We're not being mean. It's just a reminder that I exist and you need to listen. And this pressure is not going to come off until you listen to me. So that is how I introduce the e-collar, is by applying pressure as the command is given, when a command that they know, she knew. So I started this the what is normally around the third week of us working together. I know her days are kind of spread out a little differently. Anyway, so at the come, I apply pressure. As soon as she commits to coming to me, good, release of pressure. So she knows how to turn this off. I'm able to introduce this at a low level to where it's just an afterthought. And that way, down the road, if there is a conflict in motivation as to who to listen to, when this pressure is applied, if I need to turn it up because she doesn't feel it, or if it becomes something that's aversive, she knows how to turn it off by complying to the behavior. So that's how the e-collar works, is pressure is here because you're not listening, and as soon as you fix it, it goes away. And then you can get into the reward stuff. Then you can give them your milk bone or your piece of cheese or whatever. So this right here is what I found
has been the hardest to do a recall is when they're in a relaxed state and they're like, I don't feel like getting up. So definitely practice this one a lot. When they're up and running around and they're already in motion, a lot of times it's pretty easy to get them to come to you. Phoebe, come, good girl, good job. It's a good girl. You can change the intensity level as you're applying the stim. So if she's running away from you and you're applying pressure, you can turn it up. What lies ahead is going to be contingent on how quickly you turn it up. So if she's walking down this hallway, the door shuts, she can't go anywhere. It's just going to be something where it's degree until she listens. If she's running towards traffic or a dangerous dog or whatever, mystery situation, weigh the less of two evils. If, turning up to this high level, something that could potentially be saving her from something really bad, then do that. I do like to play around with varying my voice, because if she's in an emergency situation and she hears me panic calling her, I don't want that to be something that's new information. I want her to be used to that. So I like to play the scary voice every once in a while during practice. Oh my goodness. Making sure I'm going over all of this. I think I went over most of these buttons in that video. If I forgot anything, I'll probably just make another video added to this. I am going to do a video for healing and a video for recall out and about. If you have any questions at all, again, send me an email, give me a call. We can do actual lessons together after you've gone over all of this, watched all these videos. Keep in touch, right, mamas? I think she has one more day. I'm making this on Tuesday. I think she has one more day of training. So if you get this, plan on bringing her one more day since she didn't come yesterday because of the holiday. All right, hey girlfriend.